Have you ever stared at a stock chart, watching the lines jump up and down and wondered what on earth is actually making them move? It can feel like a complete mystery, a chaotic dance of numbers. But what if I told you there are hidden forces, powerful currents flowing beneath the surface that are constantly shaping the financial markets every single day? It's not just random chance. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore these invisible engines of the market. Understanding them is the key to going from a confused spectator to a more informed participant. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see the market in a whole new light. First up, let's talk about the most powerful force of all, human emotion. Fear and greed are the two giants that wrestle for control of the market every single day. When news is good and everyone is optimistic, greed takes over. People feel the fear of missing out, or FOMO, and they rush to buy, pushing prices higher and higher. They see others making money and think, I want a piece of that. But when the tide turns and bad news hits, fear grips the market. Investors panic, thinking, I need to get out before I lose everything. This triggers a wave of selling, often pushing prices far below their actual value. It's this emotional roller coaster, this constant swing between greed and fear, that creates so much of the market's famous volatility. It's not always logical, but it's deeply human. Next, we have a force that's a bit more methodical. Interest rates, set by central banks like the Federal Reserve in the US. Think of interest rates as the gravity of the financial world. When central banks lower interest rates, it becomes cheaper for businesses to borrow money to expand and for consumers to take out loans for cars or houses. This stimulates the economy, making stocks look more attractive compared to holding cash or bonds, which now offer lower returns. It's like turning down the gravity, allowing asset prices to float higher. Conversely, when they raise interest rates to fight inflation, borrowing becomes more expensive. This slows the economy down. Suddenly, those safe government bonds with their higher guaranteed returns look pretty good compared to the risks of the stock market. Gravity gets turned up, and it can pull market prices down. So, whenever you hear news about the Fed, pay close attention. They're adjusting the financial world's gravity. Now, let's zoom out and look at the big picture, macroeconomic data. This sounds complicated, but it's really just a health check for the entire economy. We're talking about things like the jobs report, inflation numbers, and GDP growth. A strong jobs report means more people are working and spending, which is great for company profits and therefore their stock prices. High inflation, on the other hand, can be a villain. It erodes the value of money and can pressure central banks to raise interest rates, which, as we just discussed, can cool down the market. And GDP, or gross domestic product, is the ultimate scorecard for the economy's size and growth rate. Strong GDP growth signals a healthy, expanding economy, which is a fantastic environment for stocks. These reports are released on a regular schedule, and professional traders are glued to their screens on those days because these numbers can cause massive immediate market moves. Beyond the big economic numbers, there's another huge force: corporate earnings and company-specific news. At the end of the day, a stock is a tiny piece of ownership in a real business, and the value of that business depends on how much money it's making. Every 3 months, public companies have to release their earnings reports, telling the world how they performed. Did they make more money than expected, or did they fall short? A surprise to the upside can send a stock soaring, while a disappointment can cause it to plummet. It's not just about the numbers they report, but also about what they say about the future. This is called guidance. If a CEO says, we expect the next year to be tough, investors will listen and might sell the stock, even if the current quarter was great. It's a constant cycle of expectation versus reality. But what about the forces you can't see on a spreadsheet? Now let's talk about geopolitics. A war breaking out, a major trade dispute between countries, or political instability in a key region can send shockwaves through the global markets. For example, a conflict in the Middle East can cause oil prices to spike, which affects everything from the cost of gasoline to the price of airline tickets and plastic goods. This uncertainty makes investors nervous. When people are nervous, they tend to sell risky assets like stocks and flee to perceived safe havens like gold or government bonds. The world is more interconnected than ever before, so a political event happening halfway around the globe can directly impact your investment portfolio. It's a reminder that markets don't exist in a vacuum. They are deeply tied to the real world and its complex events. Another hidden force that has grown immensely powerful is technology and algorithmic trading. Today, a huge portion of all trades aren't made by humans clicking a mouse, but by sophisticated computer programs executing millions of orders in fractions of a second. These algorithms are programmed to react to news, price patterns, and other data points instantly. This is why you sometimes see the market move dramatically in the blink of an eye after a news release. These algos can amplify trends. For example, a program designed to sell when a stock drops by a certain percentage can trigger other programs to sell, creating a cascading effect. This high-frequency trading adds a whole new layer of complexity and speed to the markets that simply didn't exist a few decades ago. It's a battle of the bots happening behind the scenes. Finally, let's not forget the power of narratives and trends. Sometimes the market gets fixated on a big idea, a story that captures everyone's imagination. Think about the craze around artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, or clean energy. When a powerful narrative like this takes hold, investors pour money into any company related to that theme, sometimes pushing valuations to extreme levels. It's not always based on current profits, but on the belief in a future world where that technology dominates. These trends can be incredibly powerful and last for years, creating entire new industries. But they can also lead to bubbles when the hype gets too far ahead of reality. Identifying these big picture stories can be incredibly rewarding, but it also requires a healthy dose of skepticism to avoid getting caught up in pure speculation. So, as you can see, the financial markets are a complex ecosystem driven by a fascinating mix of forces. It's the raw emotion of human fear and greed clashing with the cold logic of central bank policies. It's the real-world performance of a company measured against the massive-scale health of the global economy. It's the unpredictable nature of world events interacting with the lightning-fast decisions of trading algorithms. It's not just one thing. It's all of these forces interacting, pushing and pulling on prices every single second. By understanding these hidden drivers, you can start to make sense of the chaos. You'll be able to read the financial news and see not just headlines, but the potential impact on interest rates or corporate earnings. You'll see a chart's sudden drop not as a random event, but possibly as a reaction to a geopolitical event or a shift in investor sentiment. This knowledge doesn't give you a crystal ball. No one has that. But it equips you with a framework, a map to better navigate the fascinating world of finance. It turns the market from a source of confusion into a puzzle you can start to solve. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the hidden forces of the market. I hope you found it insightful. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how finance and the economy really work, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments which of these forces you find most fascinating. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.